Comencemos
Let's
por el
start from
primer
the first
punto.
item. In smart device applications, the theme object will become essential. In this context, most of the specifications that will have to be defined for the controls displayed on screen, both in terms of their design and certain behavior, must be defined through classes. Images are another essential element in this type of applications. Screens can be very small, so most of the information and the way we interact with it will be based on graphics. Each platform will require a certain type and number of images, of certain sizes, for the applications to be accepted in the various stores. Therefore, we must start by paying careful attention to these issues, working closely with graphic designers. They will define the overall look of the application that we will translate into the theme of our KB. In addition, we will need the launch images for portrait and landscape orientation, and the application icon, which are configured in the main object properties, probably a dashboard as in our application. We will also need the images of the dashboard items, for instance, the countries and speakers icon, as well as the tabs we use, all for the various platforms. For example, on the right, we see some of the launch images and one of the application icons that will be specified for iOS in the corresponding properties of the dashboard. Note that, while in Android we need to specify a single image for the application icon, in iOS we will have to enter 6 images for the iPhone and iPhone Retina. Retina is an Apple trademark for screens with such high resolution that the human eye cannot see individual pixels from a normal distance. So, for the iPad and iPad Retina, and for iTunes and iTunes Retina, the same will happen with the launch images. In addition, we also have iOS versions of images corresponding to dashboard items. By default, when we add the smart device generated to the KB, we import the predefined themes that we see. In GeneXus, we have them under the Themes node. How can each platform know which theme to use? This is defined in the Smart Device Platforms node for each platform. For example, we can see that the simple Android theme is defined for any Android. If the Android is a phone, it inherits the same theme as the more general. And the same happens if it's a 7-inch tablet or a 10-inch tablet. In the case of BlackBerry phones, the predetermined theme is Simple BlackBerry. And the same happens with each of the platforms available. And we have the possibility of customizing these themes. For example, let's take the theme Simple Android, keeping in mind that, from the design the graphic designer sent us, that we will have to color the font and some attributes. We would add subclasses of the attribute class, one for each color. Or, for instance, to color the background of a table's rows, we can add subclasses of the table class, also one for each color. So, every table in our Android application associated with, for example, the class of the blue table will have a blue background defined in the class. As we said, we may customize the Simple Android predefined theme, and we may also create a new theme for Android, and do the same for the other platforms. For example, we will import an XPZ file that has these 3 themes, one for Android, one for iOS, and another one for iOS 7. In addition to the classes and colors of the themes, a domain, colors, and a group of images. We will now uncheck them to import them later. Now we import, so we now have these 3 themes in our KB. We open this one for Android, and we can see that here, the classes have been added to specify different font colors for the attributes. And in the table class, we see that now we have these other ones to color the table's backgrounds. All we need now is to make this theme operative for the Android platform instead of using simple Android. And so, we change themes with the new one. We can see that if the platform is a phone or a 7-inch tablet or a 10-inch tablet, it automatically inherits the same theme. We could change it and set a different theme for 10-inch tablets for the new theme to be used only when the application is executed on that type of tablet. Otherwise, the more general theme will be used. And we could do the same for any iOS. And for any iOS 7. Here is what we've just done. Another interesting fact is that the images we import in RKB could vary from one platform to another. So, for the image of countries in the dashboard, we don't need to create an image different from that icon for each platform. The tab countries image we show has different JPEGs for each theme. Note that iOS 7 we will need two, one for Retina, and we have also defined the corresponding JPEG for the web theme. And we've not defined images for other themes, like EventGX iOS, so in the case of using the iOS platform, not iOS 7, the image will be empty. To avoid this, we can add a JPEG valid for any, as we will see now. If we vary the image content by platform, then in the dashboard, we will only associate the image with the item. And depending on the platform used every time, the JPEG will be one or the other. Let's see it in GeneXus. When we defined the tab countries image in the initial video of this course, we did not vary it by theme. It was the same for all themes. If we now want to have a different icon for the theme corresponding to iOS 7, such as this one here, which has a white border, we will have to specify the theme to which this icon will apply, and also the density to define whether it's Retina or not. And in rendering mode, we will use a template for it to assume the color corresponding to the device, which, as we saw in the initial demo, is blue. And this is why the designer sent us the image border white. Then we would add the icon for the Retina mode, also specifying the theme for which it will be valid. And then the density corresponding to Retina, and so on. With the image defined in this way then, if the application is executed on a platform with iOS 7 theme, like this one here, it will use one of these images, depending on whether it is Retina or not. Otherwise, it will use this icon. Let's now import the images that we did not import in the last step. Here, for each dashboard icon we will use, we already have these images varying by theme. So we can see the definition. We overwrote the one we had, and we will have defined all the images corresponding to the tabs. So, to sum up, we've added this new theme for Android with the classes indicated. For example, classes for coloring the background of a table control, always blue, the table colored blue class, or gray when not selected and blue when selected. Or classes for the font color of an attribute, such as blue when not selected, and white when selected. Or a subclass of the grid class for the odd number rows to take their values from the grid row odd class, and the even number rows from the grid row even class. Or subclasses of image in order to define how an image is scaled within the cell where it's located. The use of classes is very important because most properties of controls are centralized here. We will not find them at the control level in the layout, but rather at the level of the class associated with the control. And we will see that next when we study the controls in the layouts.